So I was the first openly gay American Rhodes Scholar. And I got there, and I had come out in college, so I applied for the Rhodes Scholarship as an openly gay person. It definitely came up in the selection process, and then I got there, and I learned that I was the first American who'd ever been out.
Wow.
But that was a decade before you. And you went through college, and then the Rhodes Scholarship process, and getting the Rhodes Scholarship, and going to work for McKinsey, and joining the Navy, and deploying to Afghanistan, and coming home, and running for mayor in your hometown, and getting elected before you came out at the age of 33.
Yeah.
And I bring this up, and I acknowledge it's a difficult question, not because it's bad that you didn't come out to your 33, but I think it would have killed me to be closeted for that long. I just think about what it takes as a human being to know something and to have to bifurcate your public life. And for you to have had all of those difficult transitions and experiences, and to be aiming as high as you were all of that time, and not coming out until your early 30s, I just wonder if that was hurtful to you, if it hurt you to do it.
It was hard. It was really hard.
Coming out is hard, but being in the closet is harder.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. I mean, it was and it wasn't. First of all, it took me plenty of time to come out to myself. So I did not, the way you did or the way my husband did, figure out at such an early age that I probably should have. I mean, there's certainly plenty of indications by the time I was 15 or so that I could point back and be like, yeah, this kid's gay. But I guess I just really needed to not be. And, there's this war that breaks out, I think, inside a lot of people when they realize that they might be something they're afraid of. And it took me a very long time to resolve that. I did make sure, as a kind of final way of coming out to myself, to come out to at least a couple of people in my life before I took office, because I knew that I didn't want to have that kind of psychological pressure of at least not being out to somebody.
But you sort of swore them to secrecy, or you?
They understood, that this was a very sensitive thing.
The clip we just saw there was Rachel Maddow interviewing Pete Buttigieg about being openly gay.
Right.
So this will be technically the first openly gay president in U.S. history, right?
Right.
Just the fact, Edwin, that this guy was able to just run for presidency in this time and era is astonishing.
That's a fact. I mean, this guy was Navy. He was won a scholarship very early in his life. Then became what? Mayor?
Mayor. He's known 7 languages. I mean, look, the guy has an impressive record, right?
Definitely.
Well, my biggest thing is, right, you have the evangelicals that are going to criticize this guy. So it's not about his campaign getting steam right now, right?
Right.
But will he be able to win an election being that he's gay?
Right.
I mean, you're a Christian. I'm not. For years, we've been like that, right?
Right.
Well, how do you feel about voting for someone who's gay?
I don't really think about it. I mean, to me, I see him as an honest person, trying to do things that are honest for us, to make the actual system work, democracy work better than what it's been doing, So I see hope. If anything, I see hope in him and sincerity, in what he's doing, and passion, which you don't see much. These days, it's about passion, for corporations.
Well, you know what? I mean, I see that the guy is coming from a sincere place.
Yes.
Right. I don't really get the feeling that it's all politics with this guy.
No, not at all.
Based on everything that I have done, he's kind of like, oh, look, let's get beyond this hatred. Let's get beyond this division. And we got to work for the people of America. Exactly. We got to make this work. You know what I mean? And I think that this is what America is about. If you really think about it, this is holding us to our own creed of not being able, in other words, to our Constitution, our own creed, saying, hey, we don't discriminate. We look beyond people being LGBT or gay or whatever you want to call them. You understand what I mean? I don't know. He's got me. I think there's a sense of hypocrisy with me with evangelicals.
I can see you're really wild up about that.
All those principles as far as them being religious and the hypocrisy that they did with Donald Trump, just like the guy, the Christian guy says, we did not vote for him because he was a good president. We did not vote for him because he was a good man or a good husband. We voted for him because his policies are aligned with our Christian values.
Oh man, that's like totally like warped.
But I mean, that's the hypocrisy of it. Because now, I think the evangelicals are going to hammer him. right?
Right.
Well, let me show you the clip of
Okay.
this guy that was yelling a protester at him. Saw with that clip, right? I mean, he's just shouting Sodom and Gomorrah, Sodom and Gomorrah. What the heck is with the Sodom and Gomorrah thing? I think me and you talked about this years ago.
Yeah.
And the Sodom and Gomorrah thing, like, I mean, I don't think they were destroyed because they were gay. Didn't you tell me that it wasn't that?
Right. No, it's an abomination of sin of all things. I mean, they were ritualistic. They were doing, sacrificing the children to gods, their gods. They were doing things that were really to God super not pleasing. The angels walking in and they're saying, "Can we have that?" There's been controversy with scholars saying, "Okay, is he asking for the men, for the daughters, or like that interchanging thing?" I mean, the angels, because they wanted the angels instead, or is it just symbolism? I mean, there's a lot of things going into play here, but basically it's just that these two cities were committing abominations before
so it was
God.
all of the sin, not just them being gay or whatever, because that's what the evangelicals all focus on. It's just that the gay people, but it was just a sin. It was just bad regardless. But didn't the angel, I mean, like I said, I remember you having this conversation when we were younger,
right?
But didn't the angel say something about show me one righteous person or something like that and I'll save everybody?
Right, because I remember there was a situation where they believe is well, I forgot who it was actually. Wow, bad on me. But they kept asking God, "Oh, but if there's this type, the number, He would give the number for each time God would actually save the cities for the righteous until He got to one." And He said, if there's one, so Lot pretty much, which is Abraham's lineage, was actually saved, him and his family, because God had promised the covenant that He made, the promise that He made with Abraham, that his generation would be like numerous as the stars,
So pretty much what you're saying to me, and that's what I get, right?
Right.
Is that they're saying, hey, look, if you give me one good person in these two cities, just one,
right,
I'll save everybody.
Right.
It'll be worth saving the entire city because of one righteous person.
Yeah.
So it had nothing to do whether there was prostitution or gays or murderers or the fact is that it was all sin.
And by the way,
not just one sin of just being a gay or whatever. It was all sin, because that's one thing the evangelicals hold on to, and not only evangelicals, all Christians are like, "Oh, the city Sodom and Gomorrah," but it never said that they were destroyed for them being homosexuals.
Right, but from all the preachers that I've heard, I mean, there's never been mention of homosexuality. All they say is that they wanted, that the reason was homosexuality.
One of the reasons,
right? That's just one of the reasons, but there's so many. I mean, come on, you think about this. They were interchanging. There were sodomites. I mean, they were committing just sexual sin that was beyond what we see these days or hear about these days.
All right. Well, look. Well, that's what I mean. Look, the guy to me seems to be coming from a sincere place, right? So I'm looking here at him more of the way that he is saying, "Hey, look, you know what? We can solve these problems."
Right.
You understand? It seems to me that he's the more level-headed, clear-headed person going into this. It doesn't seem political to me.
Right.
It seems like he's really coming from a sincere place, holding strong to our creed. Okay. I just think that, for me, the evangelicals and the radical Republicans with their radical beliefs of religion, which they, of course, didn't uphold with President Trump.
Right.
Okay. Because President Trump is a slum of the epitome of what it means to be Sodom and Gomorrah. All right? Because to me, that's Sodom and Gomorrah. He's got all the evils all wrapped up in one.
Well, that's exactly my sentiment too. I mean, this guy comes in, he spins everything, and that's what's going on. Tradition and all these things within religion, Christianity is actually being spinned by these men that find favor with somebody like that, and just want to convey a distraught message, a message that is a fallacy. You know what I mean? But again, I guess that's why the preachers that really fear God used to always say, always know your Bible, because you're going to have men like that.
Well, you know what? Yeah. Pete Buttigieg is my guy. I'm supporting him. I think I made my decision, not because, again, for me, it feels like he's coming from a sincere place.
Oh, me too.
You understand?
Well, his works.
And look, at the end of the day, we'll have the first husband in the White House. So, you know what I mean?
That'll be something that we have to get used to. But,
but here's another thing, though. Let's say he get voted president, right?
Right.
How do you think that's going to affect overseas as far as our relationship with the Muslims and these nations that are very hardcore when it comes to, LGBT, extremists. Especially the Middle East? How do you think that's going to hold up with them dealing with the most powerful nation on the planet,
right? And
have to deal with somebody who is openly gay? How do you think that's going to play out? That'll be wow.
Well, first of all, I think it's going to be hard at first, but I also believe that this could just start good. I mean, because here we have Donald Trump, the president, supposedly, that actually doesn't know how to speak and actually destroys relationships.
But
beyond the border.
There's a difference. Overseas,
I know.
In the Middle
You're talking
East,
about the religious morality.
Yeah, in the overseas, they're okay with corruption,
right? But they're not okay with morality.
Yeah, they're not okay with being immoral.
Well, think about it. They stone you to death.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So in the overseas, Israel, the Middle East, and all those countries, when it comes to corruption, that's not against the rules of religion.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or when it comes to fallacies or whatever it is, they don't have any problem with that.
But sometimes
it's on sexual morality that they're all of a sudden religious.
But I believe what would happen is at first there'll be a straight up posture, but I think basically they're gonna go by the fruits of his labor. You know what I mean? But, I believe that.
But don't you think that, let's say we were to vote for our first openly gay president, right? That is something that these radical terrorists or radical Muslims, let's just say sector, will use it to incite or see the United States blasphemy. This is what they're all about. Wouldn't that kind of incite and incinerate that hate for our country? Now look at them. See, I told you this is a blasphemous country. Look at what they're doing. You know what I mean? They got these gay people running the whole country.
Well, I see your concern. I mean,
I'm not concerned. I'm just saying.
What are you then?
I'm just playing devil's advocate here of what could happen, to our nation. I mean, at the end of the day.
Well, at the end of the day, I mean, there's something that you always say: acceptance.
Acceptance, right? But you know what? But that doesn't work well in the Middle East, and it doesn't work well with evangelicals as well as the hard Christians. Radical Christians, radical evangelicals. They don't accept anything.
It's like they say, it's a hard pill to swallow, but eventually it's gonna happen. I mean, if he does. He has the right, and we'll see how it's going to go, how it's going to flow, so.
Yeah, well, look, I tell you, the main thing here is acceptance, right? Nobody here wants to accept anything. They didn't even accept Jesus when he was radical.
Oh, no.
Because to me, Jesus was radical when he came.
Yeah.
You understand? Because he came at a time when it was all conservatives. And they were in the law of Moses. You know what I mean?
It was chaotic.
And here comes this young guy out of nowhere. Now, all 30 years old. Boom. So he was radical. I mean, he hanged out with the killers, the prostitutes, the murderers. He didn't hang out with the people from the church.
Well, he told them, I came for the sick, not the righteous.
So I don't know. See, but that again, that goes to that Christian hypocrisy, that it has distilled it through the centuries,
right.
To make Jesus. Put it to you like this: if Jesus was to come down right now from the heavens, right. And back in that time, remember the prostitute by the well.
Yeah, he said
when they were going to stone her, and he said, "He who has no sin cast the first stone," but everybody dropped their first stone. In this era, if Jesus was to be living, and he was to come and tell the Republicans, "Hey, look, he who has no sin cast the first stone," guess what would happen?
They'll still throw the stone.
You know what I mean? So that's the hypocrisy.
And they'll say
proportions bigger than men.
But then they'll say also, if I cast a stone, there'll be interest on it.
You know what I mean? This is what I'm saying. But look. At the end of the day, Pete Buttigieg got me. my vote. Buttigieg. He's got my vote, you know?
That is tremendous.
You know what I can see? I can see Putin meeting with Pete Buttigieg. Right?
Mr.
Hey,
Macho.
Yeah, Mr. Macho.
Yeah.
Hey, you're the booty man.
Yeah, I know. Oh, man.
Something like that. The booty man, you know?
Yeah,
he would do something stupid because, you know, they want to antagonize him. They want to label him. So he's
that's
open.
what their tactic these days is like that. They want to defame everyone.
Yeah, well, you know what?
So,
Look, I think this is a guy worth listening to. I think this is a guy good looking into.
Me too. Yeah.
He sounds great. He sounds like he's coming from a good place, not a bad place.
Right.
To me, is what American creed is about. To look the other way and say, you know what?
The people.
Let God deal with his soul. You understand what I mean? We're still going to do what we're going to do as a people.
Right.
And that's what I think, that it's up for me. It's up to us to save our own soul. It's not up to anybody who's Christians or anybody's job to act on behalf of God.
To smack you with a stick.
And tell me, you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, what gives these people the right to tell me that what is their job?
Right,
Why do they have to act on behalf of God? God didn't ordain them to act on his behalf. What he said, it's like, look, you just live your life by the way I'm telling you and leave the rest up to me.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
You just don't act on your hate.
Right.
You're supposed to love. You're supposed to love thy neighbor, love thy enemy, be there for the sick, feed the poor, visit the sick, as they say. If somebody's hungry, feed them.
That's
and don't be judgmental. Let me be the judge. You understand what I mean?
Right.
Period. You get it? So in other words, he's saying, you stay innocent, do as I tell you, let the rest be up to me. And let each individual be responsible for their own soul. Mm-hmm. You stay out of their business and let me handle it.
Exactly.
Doesn't that sound like the Father?
Right. The heart matters. The heart matters. God knows our deepest, darkest secrets in our heart. That's between us and God. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that this election with Donald Trump was important, and I tell you why. We discussed this before in one of our episodes where I agree with Comey. I think the American people need to vote him out. I don't think he should be impeached. I think, like you were commenting earlier, this was necessary for the American people or people of good character to awaken and say, wow, this is still going on in our country.
Right.
There's so much corruption. There's so many lies. There's so many spin. It's incredible.
And you would figure that by now we have learned our lesson, but we have not. Because everything's underlying, it has been coming out. Everything that has been underlying. I mean, racism, supremacy, white supremacy,
corruption,
the killing or maiming or whatever of homosexuality.
Exactly.
You're talking about, so many things. The manufacturing system being attacked or being controlled by Republicans.
It definitely
people like
shows
Republicans.
The big oil having their money.
Right. We are commodities.
Big oil has all of their money on the Republican Party and some Democrats. I'm not going to say it's all Republican, but the oil countries have the money in the White House, and we need to fight that. And I think that this is the guy to actually change the trajectory of this country of how it's going to go. We need to vote for Pete Buttigieg. Let's do it. I think this is the guy. That's right. That this is a guy willing for us to. This is a guy that we need to listen, at least look at. He's worth a look at, and a worth a try. Okay. Guys, there you have the clip of what we think of Pete Buttigieg, and I hope that he has your vote, because he definitely, for me, has my support. Definitely. So thank you. This is Immigrant-1. Thank you for joining us on episode 9.
And this is Immigrant-2, and you have a great day, and thank you for your reviews.
And people, I ask you to please subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss our new episodes. Thank you.
Thank you.